YouTube, welcome back. All right, so I think it was Monday. Told you guys that this newly appointed prime minister was not going to stick or stay. They're going to attempt to put him in, but he's a planned delay, guys. This is all the political news is a scripted delay in this. Okay? And the reason why Iraq is doing these scripted delays is because they're not ready to revalue it. They have to delay this. They have to get everything ready to go for the revaluation, and because they're not ready to do it, they're preparing to do it, but because they're not ready, they have to bring you scripted delays. So this new Sudanese candidate that Nuri al-Maliki appointed for prime minister, he's a scripted delay because Iraq's completing back-end preparation steps to prepare to revalue. Okay? And one thing that Patreon got to see this morning was I actually found an article that states right in it when Iraq plans to revalue the currency. And they brought it forward. It's in print when Iraq plans to revalue, guys. And they also stated what the revaluation is linked to time frame wise. So they pretty much stated exactly when they plan to revalue. It's in print. Can't make this crap up. But again, guys, if you want to see that level of data, you got to join us on Patreon, okay? I have found and put exactly on Patreon. It's in print, it's not my opinion, exactly when Iraq plans to revalue their currency and what it is linked to, okay? So if you want to know the real truth in this, you can join us on Patreon and I will hook you up, okay? I spend too much time researching this data to give it away for free to let all the other gurus steal the work. We don't do that anymore. If you want real true intel that's very thoroughly researched and has real time invested in it, so you get the real truth, you have to pay for it on Patreon. It's not free, but we have real true work that none of the other gurus have, okay? Let me show this to you. So right here, this new appointed prime minister is not going to stick, okay? This is a planned intentional delay in this. They're using this to delay everything because Iraq is not ready to revalue at this time. This is a planned, scripted delay. And I told you on Monday this guy wasn't going to stick. He wasn't going to last. Here's confirmation of it right here. My opinion gets confirmed very often. The Tishrin people are discussing the Sudanese. Hold on one second here. Okay. Anyway, so the Tishrin people are discussing the Sudanese candidacy. The popular escalation is very likely. The prominent civil activist revealed today, Tuesday, meetings and contacts between the coordinations of the Tishrin demonstrators to discuss the issue of the nomination of Mohammed Shia Al-Sudani for prime minister by the coordination framework. Since the first hours of the coordination's announcements of Mohammed Shia al-Sudani's candidacy, contacts and meetings took place between a number of October coordinators from activists and demonstrators with the aim of coming up with a unified position towards his nomination. And he indicated the coordination of October demonstrators has a clear position on the nomination. Right here, October demonstrators has a clear position on the nomination of Mohammed al-Sudani for prime minister as it rejected this nomination previously. So this is his second time in as it rejected this nomination previously. So he was already rejected once by the citizens back in October of last year. And the issue of returning the popular protest is very possible to reject this nomination. And this matter is under discussion and discussion between the coordination of the October demonstrators, and in the coming days, a position may be issued official and unified for the next stage. Here's good old Sauter on this. Let's see what Sauter has to say in the mix here. Hold on one second. Let me adjust the screen correctly. Hold on. Okay, so here's the screen view on that. Let's look at the article. Let's see what it says. It says Al-Sadr's position on the nomination of Al-Sudani.
Even if the well-known blogger, Soleh Muhammad al-Iraqi, who is described as close to al-Sadr, retracted a satirical picture of a Sudanese person with the comment that he was shaking hands with himself, and replaced it with the name Muhammad Shia, under pressure from the Sudan clan residing in the province. Mason, the task of Muhammad Shia al-Sudani seems difficult, if not impossible, in light of a clear veto by al-Sadr, which may push him to leave the language of political comfort and cynicism subject to the logic of action and reaction, and to go towards escalatory options, the first of which we have seen in the limited and rejectionist popular protests in front of al-Sudani's house, and then the decision to withdraw the remaining executive positions. Press sources say that al-Sadr loyalists control 1/3 of the state budget through the positions they have occupied for years. This withdrawal is not desired by the coordinating framework, nor by Muhammad Shia al-Sudani in particular, as it will complicate the task for him, and will put the man in a circle of anxiety in anticipation of what al-Sadr will go to after he came out of the convoy with nothing. This dramatic exit that occurred is a dangerous indicator that should not be overlooked or skipped, especially with the growing talk of a clear allotment of the sites of the expected al-Sudani cabin. Now, Ibn Mason is standing in an open confrontation, and the 2011 deal may not seem available to him, when al-Sadr opened the gates of Baghdad to him at the time, after a famous exchange deal that took place at the time, which ruled that the Sudanese minister be appointed in the second Maliki government in exchange for his assignment to Ali Dwe as governor of Mason. If al-Sadr contributed in one way or another to the Sudanese reaching his ministerial position in the first place, then al-Sadr himself and not others would deprive him of the position of prime minister this time. I think that everyone knows that al-Sudani is Maliki's candidate without a doubt, and inevitably al-Sadr knows this before anyone else. Will he allow a staunch opponent to dominate the camel with all its burdens, and he is the one with the protesting street, and a quarter of the parliament's seats before he leaves it?
All right, so something key was said at the beginning of this. Salah Muhammad al-Iraqi, who described close to al-Sadr, retracted a satirical picture of a Sudanese person with the comment he was thinking hands with himself and replaced it with the name Muhammad Shia. Under pressure from the Sudan clan residing in the province, Mason, the task of Muhammad Shia al-Sudani seems difficult, if not impossible, in light of a clear veto by al-Sadr. In light of a clear veto by al-Sadr. Sadr doesn't like this guy. He wants him out. Right there, highlighted for you. Okay? So he's already not liked. Now, let's get to the next article. Protests in front of al-Sudani's office has the plan to overthrow al-Maliki's candidate begun. Let's look at this article. Let's see what it says.
Press sources said that the Sadrist movement may have started its revolutionary movement to overthrow the framework candidate for Prime Minister, Muhammad Shia al-Sudani. The demonstrations came amid calls by electronic media platforms for supporters of the movement to join the demonstrations, in addition to extensive media campaigns that affected the Dawa party in al-Maliki, and described al-Sudani as the shadow of al-Maliki. Informed sources said that the October movement and its various forces have begun preparing to organize protests rejecting this nomination, and may develop into open sit-ins in the coming days, which paves the way for another political blockage, especially since the Sudanese does not want to start his rule with clashes with the protest street, and he is aware of the popular rejection of the assignment step, and he is trying hard to separate his position from the position of the coordination framework forces of which he is accused of being a part, while he is trying to export the image of the independent chosen by the coordination framework forces as a compromise.
All right, so they're pretty much telling you they're protesting and planning protests and so forth in that article. Let's look at the next one here, and then I got something very interesting to show you guys. So the next article, the Sadrists are ready. The street is a third of the broken, and the Sudanese will not pass to the green. Let's see what this article says.
July 27, 2022. Fake news / 2 days after the Shiite Coordination Framework officially announced the unanimous nomination of Muhammad Shia al-Sudani for the position of Prime Minister, even the Sadrist street fled against this nomination, and the matter began through social media, but soon became a reality on the ground. Supporters of the Sadrist movement organized massive demonstrations in Baghdad in a number of provinces later in the day, under the slogan, "We are ready, wait for us," aiming to prevent the candidate from the Sudanese coordination framework from being passed to the presidency. Hundreds of Baghdad residents will go out this afternoon, in a demonstration in Tahrir Square in the center of the capital, Baghdad, and then the demonstration will start towards the green zone across the Jamhuriya Bridge. The masses of the Sadrist movement, in moving towards the street, relied on a tweet by the leader of the Sadrist movement, Muqtada al-Sadr, published on July 14, which states that, "The choice is for the people and I support them previously and in the coming days, if they want to stand in support of reform." Meanwhile, the agency's sources informed, Baghdad will demonstrate at 4 in the afternoon, and the provinces after the sunset prayer, and that the directives included raising the Iraqi flag only, and slogans against Al-Sudani's candidacy and asking politicians for an independent and untested candidate. In this regard, a prominent leader in the Sadrist movement confirmed that the candidate for the coordination framework for the Prime Minister, Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, will not pass and form his new government. The leader, who asked not to be named, told Shafaq News, "The withdrawal of the Sadrist movement from the movement to form the new government does not mean that it will allow the political forces to form a consensual government formed according to the quota approach. This matter will not happen no matter how the framework forces and those with them try to do so other forces." He added that the popular protest was imposed on the Sadrist movement to prevent the passage of the Sudanese and to prevent the formation of any consensus government, and the current will make the street through the people the blocking third, to disrupt the passage of the Sudanese government. As the coordination framework worked to disrupt the formation of the majority government, and the coming hours will witness massive demonstrations in various cities reject not the nomination of the Sudanese, but the entire process of forming a government of consensus and quotas. Meanwhile, al-Sadr's office welcomed the demonstrations, while the Sadrist movement's political body had nothing to do with the demonstrations. A source in the Sadrist movement told Shafaq News Agency, "Today's demonstrations are popular, and have nothing to do with the Sadrist movement, considering that, the publication of the head of the Sadrist bloc, Hassan al-Adhari, for a passage from the poem of the poet Abu al-Qasim al-Shabai regarding the demonstration, contributed to an internal movement within the Sadrist movement. To go out to the demonstration at 4 p.m. today, to reject the nomination of Mohammed Shia al-Sudani for the position."
All right, so, and then here's the last article, but I want to show you, I've got a little key thing I want to show you that all this news is complete scripted bull crap. Parliamentary expectations for the election of the President of the Republic and the assignment of Al-Sudani in the next session. So what they're saying here is that political officials, Parliament, all the other political blocs, groups, whatever, they all agree to appointing and voting in Mohammed al-Sudani, the gentleman appointed by Nouri al-Maliki. But between Sadr and the citizens, they said, hell no, we're going to protest and we're going to demonstrate. Not happening. Now, so they're telling you that they're already having protests and demonstrations. If that was true, it would be on Twitter. Let's see what Twitter tells us, okay? Let's do this for a second. Let's do Iraq 2022 protests. Let's see if Iraq has had any protests ever during the year or period of 2022. Iran protests at the top. That's Iran. This next video down, it was a rally held at a protest of Ignorance Martyrs Foundation of officials and the payment of retirement bonuses. This next clip is from December 31st of 21. Okay, more Iran protests. So far, guys, Iraq has never had any frickin' protests that's Vagabond. Okay, that's the Turkish embassy in Baghdad. That has nothing to do with political protests. So, just saying, guys, Iraq hasn't had any. This is July of 21, January 4th of 22. Okay, it was a rocket attack. All right, so far, no political protests at all in Iraq in the period of 22. Now, we're going to search for demonstrations. Let's see what this comes back with. March 27th of 2022, capital of Baghdad. What was this for? To demand jobs, improvement in living conditions. Okay, but no, I want you to notice something. This is just, these citizens just want the reforms. Okay, that's what this is. They're telling you here they want reforms, but this is going clear back to March of 2022. Now, none of these are political demonstrations. They simply want their reforms. They want their social service entitlements, like the oil and gas law, Article 140, okay? They want all, and notice these articles are not even posted by an individual. They're posted by media news outlets, okay? These are media news outlets, okay? Job grades, that kind of thing. So far, Iraq hasn't had any. This is from October 4th of 2019. That's in the middle right now. Okay? As you guys see, Iraq hasn't had any political demonstration or protest for the period of 22. So this news, guys, is complete bullcrap. They're lying to you. What did I tell you? The political news is scripted. It's bullcrap. They're lying to you. They're not ready to revalue the currency because the formation of the government walks you to the rate change, and they're not ready to change the rate. They're lying to you guys, okay? We've identified all this crap. We, again, like I told you at the beginning of the video, we even found an article and brought it forward in today's video on Patreon. They told us exactly when they plan to revalue the currency. Again, we have an article from today stating they told us exactly when they plan to revalue the currency. It's in print. So if you guys want to know the truth as to what's going on, you got to join us on Patreon. We put way too much time into it to just give it away for free. But here's your daily news. Like I said, on the public side of YouTube, I clearly told you this new prime minister will not stick. He's getting removed. Brought that to you as an opinion on Monday, now confirmed. Hey, you guys are the best. Take care and have a great day.